Hi, my name is Kelsey Embry, and my tribute speech is on Corrie ten Boom. When you hear the name Corrie ten Boom, the first thing that comes to mind is probably World War II or the tragedy that took place in Nazi Germany at the time. But Corrie ten Boom was so much more than a classification of the era. She was the hand of God at work and an inspiration to us all. She exemplified kindness, generosity, and faith as she made an impact in so many people's lives. Not only was Corrie ten Boom an example of a godly woman, she also made a huge difference in the world she lived in and spread God's love while doing it. Exploring her life story gives us so many reasons to admire her. It all began in the year 1892. Cornelia ten Boom graced the world with her presence on April 15th in Haarlem, Netherlands, near Amsterdam. She grew up in a very religious family who considered themselves to be Dutch Reformed Christians. She had 3 siblings, 2 sisters, Betsy and Nolly, and 1 brother, Willem. Her father, Casper, was a watchmaker, and they lived on the 2nd floor of his watch shop. Unfortunately, Corrie's mother died when Corrie was in her late 20s, and following her death, she decided to devote her life to following her father's footsteps and learn the art of watchmaking. During the happenings of World War II, Corrie was generous enough to offer help to running Jews trying to escape the Nazi influence. Her father's watch shop was an ideal hiding place at the time because it was completely unquestionable at first glance. Nobody would have guessed that hiding above a watch shop was tons of Jews. The ten Booms built a secret room in Corrie's bedroom behind a false wall which could hide up to 7 people at a time during Gestapo and Nazi invasions. The Gestapo were the secret state police at the time who made house calls looking for Jews to arrest. The ten Booms' house was only one of many safe houses that provided a safe haven for Jews for any amount of time as they were on the move. Corrie risked her well-being to keep these people alive and spared many people's lives while doing it. On February 28th of 1944, word got out that the ten Booms were housing Jews, and the Gestapo made sure to put an end to this resistance. Corrie, along with her family, most of the Jews hiding in the house at the time, were arrested and sent to various concentration camps that dreary February day as the Gestapo raided their beloved home. As she was sent to camp that February day, by some miracle she was able to sneak in a Bible, which allowed her and her sister to witness to the women of the barracks and spread Jesus' love in this desperate time. Betsy and Corrie led little devotion and worship times to these hurting women and no doubt made a difference in each and every one of their hearts at this tragic hour. Even as all these women mourned over being separated from their families and knowing that the hands of death could grasp them at every moment, they had Jesus' love to lean on. Corrie and Betsy made a huge impact in the women of those barracks' lives. They spread God's word even until all their dying days. Nothing short of a miracle, Corrie was released from the concentration camp known as Ravensbrück in 1944 of December. Shortly after her sister Betsy's death, she was released for unknown reasons, possibly a clerical error. Though it must have been God providing a way because Corrie found out that just a few days after being released, all of the women in those barracks were killed. Additionally, word got out that only a few days after the family had been arrested, her father Casper fell ill and passed away. Betsy's last words were, "We must tell them what we have learned here. We must tell them there is no pit so deep that his love is not deeper still. They will listen to us, Corrie, because we have been here." Nothing was able to knock Corrie down. She continued to make a difference in the world even after suffering through the camp and losing her beloved sister and father, so she committed herself to following and keeping her sister's promise. After being released, she headed back to the Netherlands where she began the rehab center, hoping to mend the psychological wounds of fellow concentration camp survivors. She even gladly took in those who were involved in the Nazi conspiracy. She also wrote a book called The Hiding Place about her life experiences, and she was flown all over the world to deliver motivational speeches and to be recognized for her accomplishments. One of them being the Righteous Among the Nations, which she was awarded on December 12th of 1967 by the Yad Vashem Remembrance Authority. Even through recognition of her generous acts, she remained humble and continued God's work in her life until her last breath on this earth. Corrie died on her 91st birthday in 1983 in Placentia, California, which she had lived there for a few years by that time. Corrie's influence on the world was an inspiration. She was a helping hand to faces she had never even seen before. Many of us do not even have the decency to say hello or flash a smile at a stranger, but Corrie risked her life for strangers every single day. If that's not kindness and generosity at its finest, then I don't know what is. She faced trial unimaginable to our minds, but she kept her head up and kept the faith. God can use anyone to make a difference in this world, and there is no doubt He used Corrie in a very big way. All while suffering such hardships, she lived to continue praising Jesus and spreading His love all the time. As I live my life, I hope to become a little bit more like Corrie each day. Generous beyond measure, kind without reason, and faith that can move mountains. Every obstacle that was tossed Corrie's way was no match for her. She kept her eyes on Jesus, and that's all she had to do. She kept moving. To say Corrie is just a historical inspiration is an understatement. She changed the world for the better, and it would be an honor to be half the woman she was. Thank you for watching my speech, and I look forward to seeing yours.